Oi, where are we at subscribers-wise?
510, 511?
It's not enough, is it?
No, it's about 500 short what we're after. But look, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, you're thieving content. Do you want to be a thief? Terry, their thieving content makes me so angry. At least I'm not a Newcastle fan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Let's get straight into it, Dan. Your favourite subject. Referees. Are we picking out any one referee in particular?
We're going to pick out about 3 referees.
Go for it.
The major problem I had was State of Origin 3, Series is 1. Doesn't really matter. Ball's contested by 2 players, one New South Wales, one Queensland. Both dive at the ball. New South Wales win the battle by a quarter of a second. Queensland go through, knock the ball down. Happens 15 times a game. Goes upstairs, challenge. Liam Kennedy says she's just affecting a tackle. I have several problems with this. 1, there was no tackle affected. 2, she knocks it clearly out of her hands. And 3, Queensland score the match winner straight after. Liam Kennedy of Robin the Jets fame. The NRL came out and said, yeah, it's probably got that wrong. They definitely got it wrong. And he gets rewarded with a rep game and makes that decision. Now, I guarantee, 1, if that's in the men's game, or if the series is 1-1 and that decides the series, this is 25 times the thing because people have forgotten about it. But I want to say here, if you're going to respect the women's game, you have to treat the results, the referees, the players, the same as you would the men. You can't say, it's only the women's game, who cares? That's criminal, and that bloke needs to be kicked out on his backside yesterday.
I don't like that rule of they're just trying to affect a tackle. That's not my problem. If they hit the ball out of the hands and it goes forward, that's a knock-on.
Yes.
Anywhere on the field. Now, I in the circumstances where they turn around and say, oh, he stripped it. If he's just making a tackle and he knocks it out of the hand, then it's 6 again.
Yep.
It's not a knock-on because he didn't knock the ball on. It got knocked out of his hands. I hate that rule. What's the next one you got?
This was despicable. The second one, the one that caused the most blow-up, Saturday afternoon, lazy defender laying in the ruck. Tino plays the ball, Verrills goes over and scores. Clear as day try. The given, no problem. Goes up to old mate in the bunker, Casey Badger, who says, oh, it's taken out, it's penalty. Melbourne kick, Melbourne score. 12-point turnaround. What's the result in the game? 12 points. Second game decided by a referee. Despicable. She should be out on her ass yesterday.
Yeah, Casey Badger shouldn't be anywhere near an NRL game. She doesn't know the rules.
And last but not least, we saw a try. James Tedesco, I believe, set it up, might have scored. Don't care. Connor Watson punches the ball down.
Just affecting a tackle.
Just affecting a tackle with his fist in a volleyball setting, punches the ball down. Oh, well, they say, even though it was clear as day to anyone. How many tens of millions of dollars did they put on this bunker and the high-def cameras to see or not see something that you and I, and you got glasses and my eyes aren't that good, I'm almost 40, can see in one replay? This isn't, that was a tough call, that was a 50-50. This is a series of referees not knowing the rules, and instead of being punished or stood down, they get bigger games the next week.
Or they just get rested.
Oh yeah, they're out of the rotation for a week.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say these words, but I want to see Graham Annesley back getting dragged every Monday night because this
You hated it though.
I do.
Yeah.
And it achieves nothing, but it makes me feel good to see someone suffer because I'm sick of this garbage. I'm sick of sitting here after a great weekend of football-ish and talking about these referees. I saw so many people go, oh, it's a clown show. Don't be unfair to clowns. Oh, it's a shit show. Don't be unfair to shit. Why are we talking about the referees? Because they're making it about themselves. There's an ego problem within that group because they come out and go, you're not doing a good job.
Can I ask you a question? I just want to get your take on this in a game that happened. Jerome Luai was sin-binned for a third ruck infringement. Now, he didn't make the other 2 ruck infringements. He was the third. Penrith, later on in the game, give away a penalty, then give away another penalty, then give away a ruck infringement, but there was no binning.
I didn't know that the third one was a mandatory sin bin, and on Saturday night it was, and on Sunday it wasn't. Yeah,
and there are so many games that you can go back and have a look at, and the one that I'll bring up in particular was when we played the Rabbitohs at home. The Rabbitohs gave 5 6-agains away before a penalty was blown, and the referee turned around and said, next one, you're in the bin. So 3 isn't mandatory. 3 was just made up.
See, I don't know where these rules come from. It's like they remember, we gotta crack down on that, and then the next day they forget.
I do want to say this. It does feel like this, and I'm not in any way a West Tigers supporter.
No, the opposite.
Cheerleader, whatever you want to say. But just some things that have happened in the last, say, 30 months, I do believe the West Tigers are refereed differently.
Yeah. Well, you see the fans react, and you kind of like, they might be right.
They might be right. Now, it seems like this happens every year along with David Fafita. But Payne Haas, as manager, has apparently reached out to 16 NRL clubs and said, yo, Payne's going to be available for 2027. Get your bids in, get your bids ready. Is this the end of Payne Haas at the Brisbane Broncos, finally? Or is this Payne Haas trying to get more money when he goes to November 1?
Could be a bit of both, to be honest. In the past, I've always felt, much with Fafita, that it was like, I'll go to them if you don't give me... Oh, you gave me that, cool. The fact that he's gone and said, months and months and months before they can talk to anyone, get your stuff ready because we're chatting to you November 1. The Broncos right now are an absolute basket case. The fact that Payne Haas, who will have 16 teams, plus the Broncos, plus everyone in England and rugby union and probably AFL will want him, boxing, whatever sport, everyone will want this guy. The Broncos have got to look now and go, okay, we got to November to fix this, but I think fixing it means a complete culture change. Maybe Payne Haas leaving is part of that change. I don't know. I'm not saying that. Just putting it out there, asking the question. I don't know if they can keep him. It looks like he wants out. Yeah,
see, and this is what, like, some people don't like it. This is where I love the November 1 that you can go and do whatever you want. And Payne Haas's manager is doing his job so correctly now by saying to teams, hey, you might be cap strung in 2026, but I'm giving you 18 months to make 2027. And so let's just use us as an example, the Cronulla Sharks as an example, right? At the end of 2026, we've got Toby Rudolph off contract. We've got Braden Hamlin-Uele off contract. We've got Oregon Kafusi, I believe, off contract.
Good.
And we won't have Cam McInnes anymore.
Well,
we've got a pitch to Payne Haas, and then we can turn around and go, we got Felix, we've got Sam McCulloch. Hey, Payne Haas and Adam Fanua-Blake's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, with Blake Brayley, with T. Wilton, with Britt Nickera, with a rookie 13, or Jesse Colhoun and now rookie 13 on the bench.
Oh, I swear, there's going to be 15 other clubs.
Yeah, doing
with
the
that
same
exact thing.
Yeah.
Plus the Bears.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go to Perth.
No, but I think they'll come in and say, you want $2 million?
Yeah, you're right. And, obviously the cap goes up.
And look, New Guinea come in and say, you want $3 million, tax-free?
Yeah.
He is licking his lips, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But I do think if the Broncos were an absolute, and I hate to use this word in jest, basket case, because that's what they are, I don't think he's looking around, or I don't think these reports are being linked.
No, but it's like every time Payne Haas enters the final 18 months of his contract, he starts getting restless feet.
Yeah, he does.
And it's for the Broncos to pony up a little bit of extra cash.
Pony.
And he's come in today and said, I don't want to leave. My aim is to re-sign with the Broncos before I even hit the market. Smart ploy by his manager.
But, hey, I'm not going to hold it against either of them. It's well within the
rules. And we
rules.
know Payne Haas looks good in sky blue.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
He does.
That's all I'm saying. He looks terrible in maroon. He looks great in sky blue. Now, what doesn't look great is that Queensland got absolutely battered in the Origin.
Yep.
Right? Despite a 12-point scoreline, if Nathan Cleary could kick, and he could kick on Sunday.
Yeah.
But if Nathan Cleary could kick goals, or Zach Lomax, or Mitchell Moses, or anyone who went in there...
Latrell, Crichton.
Yeah, you got so many weapons. You're going to win this 3-0. It's a flogging, right? Yep. And not one Queensland forward ran for 100 metres on the night, so they backed up.
Yep.
The outside backs were disgraced.
Yep.
So they backed up.
Yep.
Kayln Ponga, who did 3/5 of nothing in the game, did not back up for his team, who are now in a genuine wooden spoon battle.
Yep.
They are the worst attacking team in the competition that he didn't play.
Yeah.
People turned around and said it's Origin. Valentine Holmes played.
Yep. Yeah, Val did more.
And Valentine Holmes did more in Origin and played against Newcastle.
He did.
Not a good look.
Now, people were quick to come out and say, well, Adam O'Brien said... Well, do you honestly think that if, say, Craig Bellamy said to Munster, you're not playing this weekend, you know what Munster's saying?
Yeah?
Yes, I am. You cannot convince me, anyone can convince me that Ponga wanted to play that game. As was O'Brien came out and said, he wanted to play, blah, blah. Did he really? If he's under an injury concern, he shouldn't have played Wednesday night.
The other thing as well is, I understand if Newcastle was, say, 6th.
Oh, yeah, I can make 48 hours. It's not easy.
If Newcastle was 6th and going okay, you got to be okay to be coming 6th at this time in the year. And he said, I've got a bit of an injury cloud. I picked it up in Origin camp. I played through it. Just give me this week.
Yeah.
But Newcastle have won 2 games in the last 5 weeks. One against the Umina Bunnies and one against the Windsor Panthers.
Yep.
That's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
It really isn't. And a game they should have won, they had a 20-point lead against the Titans and they dropped it.
I would also argue that if this is Bradman Best and he misses the game, not injured of course, yeah, okay. A 1.4, 1.5, whatever this guy's on, $1 million player should be banging the door down.
Who's having a shocking season.
And getting dragged back. He should have ran out and had O'Brien literally hook him on the way. I just don't feel like there's that in Newcastle right now. And I got Newcastle fans messaging me and going, when are you going to lay in the Ponga? I'm like, you paying attention?
And for anyone who, wants to know my thoughts on Kayln Ponga, I've been on Wobble and Jaw Sports with our mate Sam, and I've commentated a few Newcastle games this year, and I froth at Kayln Ponga. If I had to pick my favourite 17 of players to watch at the moment, he's in there.
Yep.
Jamal Fogarty's captain. But this is not a good look.
It's not.
No. And the fact that you have a look at, say, the New South Wales contingent of Penrith players that did so much more, back up. Payne Haas, man of the match, backed up.
Now, there were 2 other players that didn't. Harry Grant, who has missed a lot of football recently. And Xavier Coates, I actually didn't notice that he wasn't playing. He's 6'8", I probably should have noticed.
Yeah, Xavier Coates apparently had a rib injury from that Brian Toto tackle.
Oh, yeah, well, that's fair enough. But I guarantee
that was in jest. That was a shocking call.
Yeah, I bet you they probably would have played if they really had.
I mean, the penalty was a penalty, but it wasn't a sin bin.
No,
anyway, let's get out of it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's talk about a winger who does deserve his flowers, though. Alex Johnston, the first player in the NRL era to score 200 tries.
Second of all time.
Now, people turn around and go, he's just a catch and fall merchant. No one else has played on the left wing. Have a look at Andrew Everingham, who was the left winger before him. Anyone who goes on the left wing scores tries for South. Stop him.
Yeah, if it's so easy to do.
Took an intercept on the weekend after he'd torn his Achilles last year. Took an intercept, ran the length of the field.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Okay, say 60 of his tries were catch and fall. Mm-hmm. He still scored 140 others.
You know what the thing is? Say 190 of his tries were catch and fall. Do you know what that says to me? That's a winger that knows how to position himself to catch a pass.
Spot on.
How many times, go through my tweets where you turn around and go, Stone Street was out of position, could have scored a try. Katoa, Ronaldo. Pick any winger at your club. At one time, Brian Toto has been out of position.
It happens.
Alex Johnston has never been out of position in his life. Because if there's one thing that he can do, because he can't tackle.
Nope.
He can score a try.
Doesn't need to. Now, I've seen people say, he's overrated, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's your problem for rating him.
Look, yeah, but this guy's got 200 tries. Now, a lot of those tries came in a dud South Sydney team. Don't forget he won the top try scorer. They only scored 50 tries in the season. He scored 24 of them.
Yeah.
Don't check me on that, but it's not far off. Mm-hmm. He is a freakish talent. He's got... he's played a lot of games at fullback too, don't forget. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure there were some other games in other positions when he was called upon. But this isn't a guy who just, I scored every week. He scored 3 tries this week. None of them were catch and fall, and everyone's like, who's he catch and fall?
There was the one game that fans have conveniently gone back to where he scored 6 tries against the Roosters.
But...
and where every time South made a break, they just lobbed the ball to him and he scored.
Yeah, well,
who cares? He scored 194 other ones.
Exactly. And Luke Metcalf's first try was a gimme.
Yeah.
And he's scoring them, and no one's saying he's a catch and fall merchant.
Yeah.
I just think it's lazy. Someone's come up with, this would be funny, let's call him this, and everyone's gone, he's right.
Yeah.
We got to start some nonsense for this. He's a brilliant player.
Yeah.
He's done his career. He's going to smash this record.
Yeah, and look, we're halfway through the season now. You wouldn't bank on him not scoring. It's 212 for Ken Irvine.
Yeah, so he needs 13 more.
Yeah, he needs 13 more. You wouldn't knock him down and say he's probably not going to get it. He definitely won't get it this year. He could. He very well could. All he needs is a try game.
Yep, and looks like he's going to re-sign with South.
Yeah. He's definitely going to get. By the end of the 2026 season, he'll be the all-time leading try scorer in Australian Rugby League.
Yeah, and then what are they going to do? Oh, well, he didn't do enough backflips.
Yeah, look, say what you want about a winger. Oh, wingers just hang out with footballers. A good winger that can position himself.
Yeah, but if everyone could do it, how come he isn't the 25th player to score 200 tries?
Yeah, perfect. And perfect, origin changes. Forced origin changes that we've seen. Mitch Barnett with an ACL, that sucks.
It does.
That's terrible for Mitch Barnett. We know you're going to be watching this later, Mitch. Rest up. We're thinking of you. Some other...
Well, I'll handle New South Wales.
Okay, good, because I don't know what Queensland changes you can make.
There's only one for New South Wales, and that's Mitch Barnett can't stand up. So they're going to bring a prop in. Now, all common sense screams it'll be Stefano because he was brought into camp and shadowed Payne Haas and was going to start if Haas couldn't.
Keon. Has to be Keon.
Kayln Ponga's put a bloody good shift forward the last couple of weeks and has said, he picked me. Max King played extremely well off the bench. He can start. Kayln Ponga comes in, can also cover the back row. Absolute gimme. You got Lindsay Smith, played for Australia, played really well. He can come in. Terrell May's still there. Now, he's come out and run for another 200 metres the other night in a pretty ordinary Tigers outfit. I know they scored a lot of points late when the game was supposedly done, but he's still putting his hand up. So I don't think New South Wales are too worried, as much as you don't want to see a bloke go down with an ACL. I think 1 to 17 is going to pick himself. You can either put Ola Kawatu on the bench and move Max King on. So they've got plenty of options. For Queensland, though, it looks like they're going to have to make 2 or 3 changes. Now, I think the obvious one is Murray Tuilagi goes onto the wing, Val Holmes goes into the centre. But how do you drop Robert Toyer after he kept Latrell Mitchell pretty quiet?
Well, I don't even know if it's so obvious that you say it's Murray Tuilagi because Selwyn Cobbo's got to come into the mix as well.
Well, I don't think he does.
Yeah, look, Murray's good. I do like Murray Tuilagi. How do you drop Robert Toyer? I don't think you do. I think you drop Valentine Holmes.
Well, Val had a shocker and he had like 6 handling errors back in his position.
Yeah.
So maybe Val's time's up. Because I know the hammer was quiet, but he did make that break. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They just didn't get him any ball.
There was no early ball given yet. Now, Daly Cherry Evans' name has been popped up and said that he's going to be dropped.
I think that's an
How do you drop your captain after game 1, though?
I think you have to. He's just no good.
Then he comes out for Manly and he's awesome.
Yeah, but who cares? You see, Tom Dearden had 5 try assists on the weekend. If that was a shootout, Cherry Evans was an 8 and Dearden was an 11 out of 10. So I think that's the obvious one. Now, there is talk of fullback. Reece Walsh may or may not be back. Wash your hands. He's not getting back for this game. He's not even
Reece Walsh?
Yeah, for Brisbane, yeah. He was supposed to play this past weekend and pulled out late. So I think you put him out. Just Hammer go to fullback because Ponga can't play. And does that...
Yeah, then you got Holmes and Toyer. Yeah. Look, Queensland have got to try something. Now, for looking at that with Munster and Dearden, who controls the game?
It'd have to be Dearden. But then you go to the forwards. Lindsay Collins was pretty awful. Mo Footawake had like 4 runs. You got Corey Horsburgh banging it. I'm naming Ethan Bullimore if I'm a Queenslander. Yeah. I'll say who's going to go out there and die for it? It's Bullimore.
And here's the Beau Fermor for the Titans on the weekend ran for 190 metres and tackled everything, and then Jeremiah Nanai missed 11 tackles in Origin. Beau Fermor's got to start.
Yep, I agree. There's plenty of chances there. When some pretty handy commentators came out and said, pretty handy players turned commentator came out and said, there's nothing they can do. There's plenty they can do.
There's plenty you can do.
My first thing I'd do is change coach.
Yeah, no, I don't think you change Billy Slater. You can't change your coach in the middle of a season.
Oh, it's very much in jest, but also, you probably should.
Yeah, and I definitely think if he loses this one, he's gone. I don't know how, even last year, Jake Travojevic was a joke of a call, and New South Wales knew that and still didn't drop him.
No.
I don't know how you can go to Daly Cherry Evans, who has been in the Queensland team for God knows how long, and say to him after one game where... he wasn't given a platform to do anything. So you change him for Tom Dearden and the forwards still get dominated. Yeah. Queensland still can't score points.
Or, hear me out, you drop them both, play Jamal Fogarty.
Groin injury though. I'd pick Fogarty. I love Fogarty.
At least you could kick him out of trouble.
Yeah, Fogarty and Trindle, that'd be sick.
Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white and blue.
This is brought to you by Winnett Civil Grading. And this weekend we weren't in it to win it.
2 points. Don't you be
great. They didn't mess our weekend. Why are we talking about them?
Because that's what we do.
Okay.
Now, I am going to put a statement forward before I ask a question. I think if we beat the Roosters and go into the bye with 4 straight wins, everyone's talking about us like we're title favourites. We didn't, and everyone says we're a joke. Where do you think the Sharks sit at, 12 games in the bye in?
5th.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Look, I think I've seen the hyperbole from Sharks fans saying we're not a top 8 team. We're not a top 8 team. If only there was a ladder and some power rankings that would tell you whether they're a top 8 team. They're definitely a top 8 team. They've got a naturally talented squad. They just haven't put it together.
Yep.
They will put it together. At some point in time, they'll put it together. And what better time to now do that and turn around and go, the Roosters was a blip, just like the Tigers was a blip, and we get a big scalp. Yep. We get up for these games. Look what we did against Melbourne. You telling me we're not going to get up against New Zealand?
You'd hope so.
Adam Fanua-Blake is going to want to run through that squad. Now, they're without Mitch Barnett, which plays into the Warriors' favour because every time a star player drops out against Cronulla head turn around and go, oh, this is getting easier.
Sweet.
You know?
And then we get flogged.
Where do I see us? We're 7-4.
Yep.
Something like that. 7-4. We got 16 points. So we're 7-4. Some of the losses have been, a shocking golden point that we should have won, a lapse in concentration against Canberra, an understrength Bulldogs team and an understrength Roosters team.
And Penrith.
There we are. So we're 7-5. I said 7-4. We're 7-5. Penrith. Vegas. We never play well in round one. And that's because I forgot all about it. Whatever. But you look at that squad and you go, whilst they're not playing good, if they put it together, like if Nicho Hynes, Trindle and Will Kennedy all click and the forwards lay a foundation from them, no one can run with them. No one can run with them. You saw Melbourne got out to a 6-0 lead and then, could have been 24-6.
Yep.
It was 25-12 at one stage. I think we'll be bang up for this Warriors game. Craig Fitzgibbon has had the better part of 2 weeks. Normally in a bye, he's in the past allowed the players to have extra time off. They have had some time off, but they had to come back early.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I think we're 1 win short of where
we should be.
We should be.
And that's the Roosters one. That's the obvious
The Roosters or the Canberra or, the Bulldogs is the one that I look at and think, that's the game that annoys me because we're at home, the Dogs are under strength, etc., etc. It's not the fact that we've lost 5 games, it's how we've lost them that frustrates me. But I look at last year when we were, 10-1 or 9-1 after Magic Round. And everyone's saying, well, the Sharks are going to walk this. And then they believe their own hype. Nicho played Origin, Nicho got injured. Season sort of fell apart. They, got to a prelim. And to be honest, if you'd said we are beaten by Penrith in a prelim in the preseason, I'm happy. I was happy with the way it ended. I expect similar results this year, to be honest, except I want to win the prelim. But again, if you get to a prelim and lose, you've had a pretty darn good season. I feel like the manner of the losses are really what's dragging this team down. And that sounds obvious, but you go out and say, the Penrith loss. At the time, it's Penrith. Back to back premiers. In Vegas, bright lights, they get us by what? A try, was it, or
4
something?
4 points, yeah.
Okay, whatever. That's fine. I'll 100%. Canberra, okay, a freakish play that only Canberra can play got us. I know we were a little bit, there were 5 of them, there were 1 of us. But whatever, it happens in Canberra. The other 3 losses, though, you're like, if the Bulldogs beat us at full strength, whatever. But the fact they're missing their 2 best players, we don't get out of second gear. Kayln scores a try, gets injured, we don't look like scoring a try. The Tigers game, okay, we just messed that up. I'm not too upset about that. The Roosters game, though.
Deplorable.
Absolutely unforgivable. And they will know that. But the fact is that keeps happening. So maybe they don't know that. Maybe they go, Barnett's out. We're like $1.80 favourites and they're at $2.30, even though they're, almost leading the comp. I wish it was flipped because if we went in as underdogs, I'm certain Cronulla get up and win this game.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to be missing both wingers this weekend. They got 2 of the best wingers in the game. It's not a gimme by any stretch. That's a good thing because if we're at full strength and winning, I'd be like, now we got a little bit of adversity there, and we'll talk the team tomorrow when it's named. I'm hoping they turn that into let's get them.
So just quickly, who are you expecting as the wingers to be named tomorrow?
I think Katoa will be named. Whether he plays or not, I don't know.
I don't think Katoa's named.
And I think it'll be Dan Atkinson, as much as I hate that with a passion.
I think it'll be Mawini Hiroti and Kayln.
Okay, let's hope. Hiroti has to be there.
I think it'll be Mawini Hiroti, Kayln and Talakai in the centres.
I'd prefer that than naming Atkinson. I think Hiroti and Atkinson will be named. I think Katoa will be in the...
I know Iro has been one of the 3 best centres in the competition this year. I just think you got to put him on the wing. I don't think you can blood Chris Viola for this game.
No, fair enough. And, you know, he hasn't been blowing the house. And you tend to be disgraceful.
Or you could put Chris Viola in the centres and put Iro on the wing.
That works. I'd be happy with that. Then at least it wraps the side up. We'll know on Fins Up. Check the Fins Up podcast for those that don't know. Check Spotify and all where you get your podcasts, fancy dudes. But I think Cronulla's sitting pretty good. The fact is we're talking about it's not playing real well. We're sitting 5th. That's a really good spot to be in.
Yeah.
What's not good, though, is that one of our favourite sons, Big Bald Tom, 3 months, wiped for 3 months. AC joint, I believe.
Yeah, shoulder.
Had some surgery, has been ruled out.
He got hurt against Manly?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know he came off.
Don't fact check us.
No, he came off after an early stint. He was killing it.
Yeah, it was Manly. He came off at half time and when it got close, Craig Fitzgibbon said he could have put him back on, but we lost some momentum.
And we're like, it might be 1 or 2 weeks. And then he turns up with like his arm in his sling. You're like, don't look like 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's come out. It's pretty bad because I think he and Fanua Blake were just destroying all in front of them. And since he's left, you know, you have to play Hamlin Ueli, and I'm not real high on that right now. That sucks.
It does.
I miss my big bold Tom.
I miss Tom. You know what else sucks?
Boldzilla.
Watching Jack Williams kill it for Parramatta. Now, I know Parramatta are having a shocking season, whatever. He's having a great individual season. We let him go. We let Jack Williams go for Hamlin Uele. That sucks.
You weren't down on the re-signing.
I wasn't down on the Hamlin Uele re-signing at all. I am now.
I was. And I copped so much grief.
From me.
We've had about 4 comments in our 7 or 8 years, or whatever it is, of Fins Up. Feels like 7, right? And that's a good thing. About what a whinger I am, what a great signing. Update?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'm happy to cop this one. When
we both copped grief when we said we want to re-sign Jack Williams, and everyone's like, he's got an error in his game. He made 1 error the other day for Penrith, for Parramatta rather, against Penrith, and was probably the best forward on the park.
Yeah, he ran for like 230 metres or something.
He almost scored a try, had another line break. He's had a line break assist, I believe, because his hands are so good. People are lazy, man, and they go, Hamlin Ueli didn't make an error. He never does anything.
I'd love him to be our starting prop right now.
Yes. In fact, Parramatta, if you are watching...
Give him back.
We'll give you Hamlin Ueli. You can have Huge Toogs. Have Atkinson?
No, is he? Puru?
Puru? Not Hohepa, the other one. Take anyone you want that isn't like...
Good.
People that we like. Yeah, not good.
Oh, you know what?
Let's fit right in.
I'll soften the blow. You can have Billy Burns.
Yeah, no, I like Billy Burns.
I like Billy Burns,
give me back Jack
give me back Jack Williams.
I'm annoyed about that. We don't get many wrong, but this is one we definitely got wrong.
Yeah, this is one that I think we look back now, and if you had your time over again, but and the worst part is Jack Williams left for less money than Hamlin Uele got.
Yeah, God, I hate that.
Dan,
talk to me, Terry.
It's time for some tips. We got 5 days of footy.
Oh, thank God. How good was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Should be every week.
Should be.
Yeah.
Oh, well. These players are too lazy. They don't want to back up. They don't want to back up 48 hours after a game.
Bastards.
Now.
We can skip Thursday.
Look, Thursday night up at McDonald Jones Stadium, the Newcastle Knights are hosting the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Newcastle stink.
They are not very good.
I commentated the game against the Dragons, and I was lucky enough I was calling the Dragons.
Oh, good, you got some play. It was pretty hard to watch.
Newcastle suck, man.
Isn't it fun? Isn't it satisfying?
Yeah,
Remember
it is.
in their pre-season how much grief we caught?
Yeah.
Newcastle can be great. They're better than the Sharks. Still waiting.
Yeah, they are the worst team in the competition.
They are, and I think Manly, who I have no love for, will flog them.
It's just the fact that the Gold Coast can't tackle at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they've scored like 300 points. Yeah. They've conceded 5,000.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Whereas Newcastle have scored 150 points. They're averaging just over 10 points a game.
It's not very good.
It's awful. It's funny.
Manly.
6 o'clock. Now, this game, how is this a 6 o'clock game? This is awesome. The Storm are hosting the Cowboys at 6 o'clock on Friday. How? How?
Like an error to me, Terry.
Storm.
Yeah, Storm. Although, the Cowboys have been a lot of fun and Melbourne just can't keep going. When they do, though, watch out.
No, it's at Amy Park.
Yeah, well, that's what sways me. Melbourne for me.
Storm. 8 o'clock, somewhere up in the Dolphins are hosting the Dragons. Now, this will be a fun game. This will be a shootout.
Okay.
Winner of this gets themselves up and around 8th spot.
Does.
I don't want to praise him too much, but Jack DeBellin coming off the bench for the Dragons turned the game. He was the best player on the park by far.
He was good.
He was so good it's not funny.
Yeah, he was good.
I just think that the way that he came onto the field, Loco Pacifica Tonga was absolutely incredible, and Luciano Leilua. Couchman started. I'm talking about this from the bench.
Sorry, yeah.
I the Dolphins don't have that on the bench.
No, they don't.
I don't think they can go with the Dragons in the forwards, but where they can get them is the halfback and the back line. It's going to be an interesting poi here. Now, this is going to be a game that we have to split on who we're going for. Every time I pick the Dolphins, they lose. So I'm going to go with the Dragons here.
Oh, well, I'll go the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Herbie versus Val.
Oh, Herbie will make mincemeat of him. The problem is they're both left side centres, aren't they?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be Herbie versus Moses.
Okay, sign me up.
Sign me up. That's a battle.
Yep.
Yeah, Herbie, 10-9. Now, 5:30 Saturday afternoon. There's no 3 o'clock game. Stick with us. There's no, so it's only a half Super Saturday.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Jets play.
5:30. Oh God.
I know.
The Sharks are hosting the Warriors. Game of the round.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Not even with Jest.
Yeah, second or third against fifth. At home, back at Shark Park.
Remember what happened last time we played them there? Last touch, they score, win. Johnston misses the goal after the siren.
Yeah, shut up. The time before that we played them at home, we had a 30-point lead and we lost.
Yeah,
shut
2 in a row.
up.
I hate Cronulla.
Sharks.
Warriors.
7:30. Up at Suncorp. So, well, that tells you the Dolphins aren't playing at Suncorp at least.
No, they play with the whole magic round there, mate.
The Broncos are hosting the Titans. One team that's a complete mess.
Yep.
Against another team that's a complete mess.
This could be excellent.
Yeah. Des Hasler is fighting for his life. The rumours are coming out that Brad Arthur's going to be the next Gold Coast coach. You either take that on the chin and just try and fight your way out of that, or banter era starts because you know that if you're sacked, you get $2 million.
Yeah, I'd be bantering.
I can't go against the Broncos here, Dan. I'm going to go with Broncos.
They've lost like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So they're due to lose to the Titans. That's what.
What did you make of the Ezra Man booing?
It was expected.
Deserved. 2 o'clock Sunday.
I booed him.
You booed him? Yeah, good. 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. The Raiders heading back home to play against the Rabbits. Now, Jamal Fogarty being ruled out against the Roosters, I thought, oh, geez, they're in for a bit of a tough old afternoon. And they were, don't get me wrong, they were. But that young kid, Ethan Sanders, he stepped up and he showed what the future is and why Canberra weren't happy, but were okay to let Jamal Fogarty leave. Look, this one at home, the Rabbitohs were pretty good against the Warriors. They came back. Latrell's awesome. I just think at home, Joe Tarpany, the form he's in.
Papa Lee breaking the record.
So, yeah, massive. And apparently they're giving out mullets.
Yeah, oh, jeez. That's going to be fun. Can you imagine the clap?
I don't know.
It writes itself.
I don't know if that mullet's going to be for him or for Weeks. Because he's sick.
Yeah, that is a great mullet.
That is a great mullet.
Those.
I'm going Canberra.
Canberra by how many?
Yeah, Canberra by how many? The Battle of the West. This is the real Battle of the West. The Tigers are hosting the Panthers. Now, it's basically the Panthers versus the Panthers.
I was going to say, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I saw enough from Penrith to say that whilst I don't think that they're the premiership threat that I thought they were, that they can hold out teams.
Oh, they're still Penrith.
They're still Penrith.
And the Tigers are still the Tigers.
They are. But then you saw enough of the fight from the Tigers. Yes, they got down by heaps, but they really snatched it.
Yeah, but that's all well and good when you're 30 points behind and you've got nothing to lose and the other team's like, I know it's good and you prefer to do that than lose 30-6 or whatever it is, but the team fought hard when the game was done and they never really got that close. I think Penrith whack them.
I'm going to go the Tigers.
You'll be OT.
I'll go the Tigers. I think Jerome Luai is going to put one on them.
Fair enough.
And Monday.
The King's birthday, and not King Gutho.
the King's birthday. The Dogs are hosting the Eels. We could see Lockie Galvin.
We could.
And he said in his interview with Danny Widler that he wants to make his debut against the Eels because he rejected them. Whoever's advising this kid, man, like,
stop it.
one, tell him to stop talking. Two, tell him to get a better barber. That haircut is shocking.
That is awful. Everyone's like, throw shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
That's a Dumb and Dumber joke.
Yeah.
Google it, trust me. Yeah, I didn't like that interview at all, just quite. We probably should have led with that earlier. But
I loved it.
It was good.
I loved everything about it.
I do think that the Dogs come out and run right. I think they are
30, 40 points better.
Yeah, which is it's going to be fun though. But remember, we thought that a couple of years ago and it didn't happen, or maybe it did. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the other way around though, at that point.
So there's going to be, it's a huge crowd. This is a huge game. I'm frothing.
Yeah.
But I think the Dogs...
There's going to be, the 40, 50, 60,000 people going to be at this game. They're doing the $10 tickets again. If you've got nothing to do, get out there. Like, we should probably go.
Yeah, and then subscribe to the goddamn channel.